Dímelo, mi gente. Marcucci here, bringing another video. And today we have Lucas Santo. I met him recently at a Solana event. Really, really cool how we met. He was talking really loud, and I was like, huh, what is this guy talking about? And then, he started talking to me that he's developing a game on Solana. Really, really cool game. So, yeah, I decided to like bring him out. So how you doing, Lucas? You're from Brazil. Brazil is doing a lot in our community. They're really one of the core pioneers of crypto in Latin America. So if you could talk to us about your story, where you're from, and all that kind of stuff, and you got into crypto.
Of course, of course. Yeah, thanks for having me on, Marco. Yeah, it was awesome to meet you the other day. Me being my Latino self, being very loud and moving with my hands, I'm sure you could tell we were, same kin. So yeah, that was cool. Um, yeah, so I'm originally from Brazil. I'm from São Paulo. And I was born and raised there, and I moved here with my family when I was young. And so I've been living in New Jersey ever since then. Um, so yeah, so like I definitely still I'm very much a gringo, but I still very much connect with the Brazilian and Latino family, of course, and the culture and everything. So yeah, it's
So
great to be
how
here.
how did you get into crypto? Like, what made you go to the Solana
Hmm.
event? Talk to us about your family. Are they into crypto? Have you gotten them into that? How is that journey?
Yes, so I got into crypto in 2021. Probably like many other people, 21 was like a huge onboarding wave, with crypto going crazy back then and the NFTs. That's how I got into it. So yeah, like my family, they don't really understand crypto that much, but it was actually my brother who introduced me to NFTs. It was like, yeah, like summer of 21, and he told me, hey, there's a NFT mint coming up and it's free. So, we can try to get it. And I was like, okay, I can try this out. I wanted to prove to him that this is like some kind of bogus technology that it wouldn't work, and I was super fudding it very hard. And then I went and we minted the snacks on Solana, which was one of the OG collections there, and we were able to mint for free, and I got a super rare one. So I was like, okay, this was cool. It's an interesting new experience on the internet. And then he was like, oh, no, but you can sell it. I couldn't believe it. So I put it up on the Magic Eden marketplace, and lo and behold, I was able to sell it for like a lot of Solanas. So I was immediately hooked. And the whole premise of that project was to build a trading card game. And so yeah, I've always been a big TCG player. So when the original founders of that project eventually they left, I and the community members kind of took over, and we've been building the game for that since then.
Wow. So how did you originally get started in like video game development? What made you can I go into this like card trading slash card playing uh, route, or like what where did that passion come from? What games do you play originally?
So ever since I was young, like even in Brazil, I would play Pokemon a lot. And there would be like the Pokemon centers, the store card shops that would have tournaments and stuff. And I used to love going and playing, and we would win like actual badges. If we won, we would win like the rock badge and the water badge and all that stuff. I thought that was always so cool. Um, and then eventually I went to my schooling and my early career doing other stuff. I was a biomedical engineer. And then just around COVID time, I decided to leave and start looking at new opportunities. I really wanted to try startups and entrepreneurship. I did some education and some other startups, and eventually, when I right around the time when I discovered crypto, was also the same time when I was starting to get into game development myself. So the timing really just aligned for those interests to, yeah, come together and allow me to like enter this new field. So yeah, because I had done software development before for my job before this, but uh, yeah, and like in education too, I had made a course where I would teach kids how to code and program in Python language by building a very simple like Space Invader, game. So yeah, I've always been like a gamer, besides TCGs, I've played a lot of other games too throughout the years. So it was just a natural like combination of my interests and passion with something that I could learn to do.
Perfect. So you're an ambassador for GR1D Network, right?
Mm.
What is kind of like their mission and how does that influence you and your work in, game development?
Sure. Yeah. So the Grid network, I met the CEO at a conference a couple of years ago, and he seemed like a really cool guy, very down to earth. So he was a part of the Twitch Prime initiative in Amazon. That kind of, when they acquired Twitch and made that a thing, he was involved with that. And so he brought some of the like Twitch and Amazon people with him to Web3 to start this new company. So, like initially, they had created a game. It was called Rugged Revenants. It was a fun kind of platformer game, and they realized that it was just a little too early and a little too clunky. So they decided to pivot instead to build this platform. So what I really like about it is that they're about to launch very soon, actually, but they're creating like a separate blockchain that will interface with every blockchain and provide a very seamless experience for the users who are not maybe as familiar with blockchain. So they're also partnered with Amazon, and they're already actually listed for some of their gaming products that they're distributing for their gaming partners on Amazon platform. So I think it was a really cool connection to make with someone who's building with a very established Web2 company and bringing that bridge to Web3 for people in a way that is not very like high risk.
Perfect. So you've mentioned blockchain. So let's focus now on Solana.
Hmm.
What excites you about Solana and why did you pick it as a blockchain of your choice for your crypto game, right? Obviously, you mentioned that Snack was already on Solana,
Right.
but you could have switched blockchains. You could have started developing your own game. So what specifically about Solana? So the speed, the cheapness of transactions. What is your ideal vision and why Solana?
Definitely the speed, definitely the low cost. That was initially what even made me consider like minting the NFT. Excuse me. But after I got involved with that community and other communities, like I'm building not only this game with this next, that's like my game, but I also got involved with building another game for another NFT community, the Galactic Geckos. And I just saw that this was definitely the most vibrant culture, place of culture in crypto. Like Ethereum had a lot of money and attention, but I think that I didn't really feel at home in that culture or that communities. Um, it may have just been pure luck of the draw of like where I found myself first. But I think over the years I've come to see that I think it was a good bet. Solana is definitely growing I think more than the Ethereum ecosystem. However, I did also work as a community manager for another company that is more Ethereum side of things. So I'm not like a anti, Ethereum. I think that all blockchains will work together in some ways. But yeah, the fact that the Solana headquarters, he's here in New York as well, and I ended up just meeting more of those people. Just started to get more feeling at home there and they also have the technical side of things that make it very um, a little bit tough to work with, technically speaking. But once it works, it delivers a better user experience in the end than Ethereum.
Perfect. Yeah, I know let's talk about the technical, right? Like,
Mm,
what are the tools that Solana can provide for you? Because Solana is providing a lot of tools for, different startups, different businesses, and everything.
right.
But from my understanding, right, developing on Solana is like a new language, is Rust. How is that language, or what are the tools that Solana is giving you that can help you create these games?
Sure. So yeah, first of all, my game is not totally on chain. None of my games are like doing everything on chain. So it's nice that we only really use the blockchain for certain things. But yeah, the tools that Solana gives they have obviously like a huge developer uh relationship, with developers. They're making a lot of courses and tutorials and a lot of support for the community to help develop using the blockchain. But Rust, like you said, that language is very tricky and it's very difficult to work with it. Um, so it's certainly more of a challenge than the EVM, but I took a course in the Solana Foundation headquarters here for learning how to develop smart contracts on Solana. And just from my basic programming experience, I was able to follow the course and create, a little contract that allows you to send tokens back and forth. And it it certainly was missing a lot of the complexity of a real product in the course, but having that experience made me more confident that I could actually make this work. So yeah, we're still developing the blockchain infrastructure for our games economies, but I'm very confident that it will work. It just needs a lot of upfront tinkering with it. But yeah, they also have other development frameworks. So if you don't want to use Rust, you're able to use some other languages to have some of the same functionality of the smart contracts. But yeah, you might need to get some people to help you design that. That's what we're doing.
Perfect, perfect. And yeah, so if you're a builder and you want to develop a game, definitely reach out to us if you want to, get all the tools that you need. I know there's a lot of different, you mentioned EVM. There's also like Arbitrum. A lot of,
Yeah,
blockchains are focusing on crypto gaming because I think that's going to be the next big thing. But with that being said, can you show us the design for your game? Can you tell us about the game? Why people should play it, what kind of like inspire you. You already told me a little bit, but I want to see it, firsthand so people can see it, people could play it, enjoy it, and everything that you wanted to show us.
absolutely, absolutely. So it's a trading card game. It's so yeah, I guess I can share my screen too as I am explaining it to you. Um, It's basically like Hearthstone. If you know trading card games, that's a very popular one, but it's still in the pixel art style. And let me go ahead and share my screen here. I think you guys can see this, and let me just refresh. So the game is in a browser right now, but we are developing and building really for mobile and like PC. But yeah, just like during development, it's a little bit easier to have it be on the browser. And as you can see, it's the pixel art style is kind of a retro art style that I think just for a lot of people, it drives that feeling of nostalgia from the good old days, when just life used to be a lot simpler. Games used to be maybe a little bit like jankier, but also more fun, I think. So
I
that's really
agree
the
with you.
feeling. Yeah, right. Like the LAN party kind of vibe is what we're going for. Um, and yeah, we have a bunch of artists. So like the entire team is based in Brazil. Uh, so I really like pride myself in having that the whole team be down there. And so yeah, all of our artists, they're just like amazing with the pixel art. And the point of the game is to have characters that belong in the game, but also bring in characters from the Web3 ecosystem. So we'll have a bunch of characters from NFTs that um, are pretty well known. And of course, I've timed out from the server, so let me just do another quick refresh here because
So
I'm
is it
talking
like
so much.
you could play as people from like Axie Infinity or like Illuvium or like what kind of Web3 characters are you thinking about? Like Pudgy Penguins, that kind
Yes,
of stuff?
exactly. So
Bro,
I I
really?
I know all
Bro,
those, and they're not in the game yet, but that is the plan, is to eventually expand to like the Ethereum characters. We're starting with the Solana characters for at first. So we will have like, I don't know if you know Bonk. We will have the Solana Monkey Business, the Galactic Geckos I mentioned. But yeah, the Pudgy Penguins, like we definitely want to get them in here as well. The thing is, we wanted to do like a characters that we actually owned. So every NFT, every character that's an NFT in here, we actually own it uh, because we didn't want to get any risk about licensing stuff before we make a official partnership with the collection owners. Then we can create a license and we can do more characters from their collection. But yeah, so this is the battlefield here. I'm playing against myself, so I can just show you a match. Um, and yeah, you have these two hero characters. That's like our kind of custom IP or intellectual property. But the snakes is like where the project was born out of. And so the snakes are also very important characters in this game. And here is also another one, the Claynosaurs. Do you know the Claynosaurs? No? Okay, okay.
Oh,
So
wait. Yeah, that's from Snoop Dogg, right? That's Cardano, or no?
no, 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 no. Sorry. No, it's it's a very interesting project born out of Solana, but they're expanding to Sui.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was Cardano, and I thought Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
Damn, really? I could have sworn that was Cardano. Huh.
Yeah, yeah. No, Claynosaurs are they're like the Pixar. That's what they claim. They're the Pixar of Web3.
Well,
Because
good to
like
know.
yeah, their characters are they're 3D kind of same style of Pixar art. But I love these dinosaurs, so I'm putting them in as well. And yeah, like this is a Saga Monkeys. This one here is a Cats on Crack. So these are Solana NFTs. Um, but like, so what we want to do is have expansion sets that then expand outwards, right? So like one of the already in the works is the plan to make an ethereal kind of vibe. But then we introduce all the Ethereum characters like Neo Tokyo, Pudgy Penguins, Azuki, and everyone else. Um, but yeah, so the game is like I said, similar to Hearthstone in the sense that you have a hero and then their minions or allies, as we call them, and each one can make attacks or have special abilities. The and like there's a mana system, it's the same kind of resource system as everything else. The difference here is a few. So you may see this portal here, and I'm about to end the turn. It's going to turn on. So when the portal turns on, there is a certain effect that is applied on the field. So we're still like finalizing the art, but you know, you can imagine like when you connect to a portal, the field turns into a new kind of battleground, whether it's water or fire or whatever it is. And that the effect will have advantages or disadvantages on the different characters, depending on what class they are or other like their race as well, their species. So yeah, this portal mechanism is a way for us to introduce a mechanic that makes the game feel fresh and new every time you play, because the effects are kind of random, uh, without having it be like straight up roguelike game where, you know, you're still doing a PvP kind of thing, but people can lean on that portal as a mechanic like to do their strategy, or they don't really care about it. They can just play with their cards. So it kind of gives some optionality for strategies.
Yeah,
But yeah, let's do an
definitely.
attack here.
That's it reminds me a lot of like Yu-Gi-Oh! Going to like the Shadow Realm and like the
Yes,
different like dimensions that you will go to. Another
exactly.
attacking. This looks
Exactly.
amazing. Honestly, kudos to you. Congrats to the team. I can't wait until like the final product. I actually want to play against you one day.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
We obviously have a lot of things planned, you know, like tournaments and prizes to give out and player rewards, of course. But we really also want to lean in on user generated content and giving people the tools to create their own little, you know, apply their creativity to give their spin on the game. So yeah, that's gonna come later, but we really want people to be able to make like custom art for their cards and maybe some emotes in like the pixel art kind of style. It makes it easier to do that, especially with AI.
And yeah, that's I wanted to get into that, and you mentioned AI. Thank you. A lot of the concern of a lot of gamers recently, me personally, I play
Hmm.
a lot of Call of Duty, Apex Legends, Fortnite, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And we're
Hmm.
at the mercy of developers, right? Like
Yeah.
if they want to create whatever content they want, and sometimes there's really good content, I'm not saying it's bad, but
Yeah.
if I wanted to create like a hat for myself or something like that, I can't do it right now in Web 2. In your game in Web
Right.
3, it's gonna be allowed, right? Or how easy is it to do that?
Totally allowed, and not only allowed, encouraged. So yeah, because so the way our game's gonna work is that when a new player arrives, they will get some initial set of booster packs, they'll open up some cards, they'll be able to make a deck and start playing. But those cards will not be NFTs right away. If they want to, they can choose to pay a little fee, small fee, just to mint the NFTs. And then once they are minted, they are able to do whatever they want. They're able to trade it, sell it, and customize it as well. The customization, it may not be limited to NFTs. We're still kind of deciding how that's all going to work because, like, ideally, we want your custom creation to be stored in the NFT or at least in some place in your account so that you can actually monetize on that or sell it if you want to as well. But it's going to be hard to do that if you don't, kind of enter the Web3 space to tokenize everything and have it be on the blockchain. So yeah, that's really what we want. Is like we want people to be able to come in whenever they want, whether they're on a subway or on the bathroom or watching TV at night and playing this on your phone or you're on your iPad or something, and yeah, you collect rewards from playing, and those rewards could actually buy you a meal if you play well and get enough rewards. You can actually exit and off ramp that into like money. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. You can keep playing, reinvesting the reward back into the game, and maybe collecting better cards to win more. And let's say you're a creative, then you go ahead and make some art or some emote, a card skin or something. You can actually mint 100 of those and try to sell it to our community as well. So we're gonna be making all these experiences very easy for people to do without having to jump through all these kind of problematic user experience flows with the Web3 stuff. So yeah, we're going to be working really hard to make that as smooth as possible.
Perfect, amazing. So when is the game actually out? When can people start playing it?
So yeah, we are in alpha. We're looking to launch our hero NFTs coming up soon, like next month. So we're starting our marketing campaign for that, like this week. And after we launch the NFT, we're gonna have a huge tournament, and then we'll have the beta launch after that. So that will come for the summer. And later this year is when we'll look to actually launch the full game, full release worldwide in all the platforms.
Wow,
So
I'm
that's kind of
really
our timelines.
excited. I'm really excited. This looks really, really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, the kind of like, to like close things off.
Yeah.
Um, what are some challenges that you've experienced so far
Hmm.
when creating this? Because you know, w- video game creating is like really, really hard, and there's not that many
Yes.
developers, and a lot of the best developers are with, Activision Blizzard, like Ubisoft, Rockstar Games now that they're, developing
Right.
GTA, and GTA has taken like 10 years to develop. So what
Yeah.
are the challenges and what can you tell to people that are new to the space that want to create these games, like some tips and tricks?
Obviously, with everything that is new, you want to start small and slow. Uh, and like yeah, like a lot of people, it's like becoming very popular to here, I'll just stop sharing because otherwise I'll keep trying to lose my focus to play here. Uh, AI is helpful, but I wouldn't depend entirely on AI. I wouldn't like if you don't know anything about coding, but you want to make a game, obviously start with AI helping you create some simple code for prototypes, but you definitely want to spend enough time actually learning the coding enough so that you can prototype. And then yeah, like if you really like the coding, you can continue to become the main game developer, right? And like code it up yourself. The art side of it is another consideration. Excuse me. So if you have artistic friends, you can always ask, them to make some quick things for you to start playing around with it. Um, but you have to find out where you fit in, kind of. If you're more artistic or more like you like planning and designing, that is a different role, than the developer. So you definitely just want to find like where you fit in by trying every piece of it. So what I always recommend to students is think of the simplest game that you think would be kind of fun to make. And the best idea for this is to pick a game that already exists, but you can add your spin to that. So like the Space Invaders, right? There's just like a ship and it just goes side to side and there's enemies coming down and you have to shoot them, right? But some of my students were like, that's boring. Let's make this like, oh, the missiles don't go in a straight line. They go in a zigzag or, the weapons changes like with upgrades. These are very relatively simple games to create because you're not worried about connecting to the internet with like multiplayer. It's just all local and you just moving around sprites or art, pieces in a table or in a piece of window, really is what it's called. So yeah, I would start with something simple, get a feel for it, do one quick game prototype like this. Like another one I had was chess. Think about like the chess from Harry Potter, right? Where it's like the knights come out and they swing each other, right? So I made it like a little chess, but the pieces are like a mage and a warrior and a rogue on a chessboard. And then they have little different actions like, the knight has this and the queen has that. So it's kind of like the same style, but just a little bit different that makes it my own. And yeah, once you get past that, right? So this is like maybe a few months of work. Then I would look to if you really want to continue along this path, think to yourself, okay, what kind of game do I want to make and who can I make it with? Because the indie game developer trope of like the 2000s and stuff, it's like it's certainly doable nowadays, but it's just much harder. So I would definitely recommend to get out there to conferences. Like if you live around New York, there's a ton of events that have game developers or designers come up and play and talk about game designing. Um, and just yeah, meet people and try to see what you can create together. But the biggest thing though is the design. Like measure twice, cut once.
So community and definitely design. Great. I think those are some really good tips and thank you for doing this. I think the game is gonna do great. I do remember one more announcement. I think you're doing a meetup that we're gonna be going to. Can
Yes.
you tell people where it is, how to sign up, and how to get in contact with you, like if like through email, Twitter, however it may be.
Yep. So Twitter, I guess I can share with you. Maybe you can share with everybody the Twitter account. It's just Sol Snex, SolSneks. And we'll be sharing all the updates for the launch coming up and then the eventual beta launch there. We have a website, but you can find all of that through the Twitter. My Twitter is like linked on there, Spaceman Spock, because I love Star Trek. So that's my handle. And yeah, so the event next week, there's going to be a bunch of events. There's going to be a conference, the Solana Accelerate conference in New York. So I put together an event next Wednesday. It's going to be in the early afternoon, between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. at Central Park, Sheep Meadow. And we're just going to meet up, have fun, have some pizza and some drinks and like just have some activities. And I will also be, showcasing my game, but also introducing people to Jupiter. So Jupiter is a decentralized exchange or DEX on Solana. It's the biggest one or one of the biggest ones, but they're all about the community. I love Jupe because they really contribute and support the community, the global community that has formed around their protocol. And they really like I'm talking like they're putting millions of dollars into the DAO fund to fund community activations, events, like everything you want to see from a Web3 project. They're doing it right. So yeah, I'm really like want to contribute to grow that more. And so me and a couple of other guys in that community are starting a working group to create a gaming vertical for that community. So that way, like the Jupiter brand can really spread out to the esports and gaming communities. And for games also, like especially when you have in games, when you have any kind of transactions with tokens, the Jupiter API is free and you can use it. It's very good to be able to service the tech part of that. So uh, always trying to bring awareness for that. And then we may eventually be making like a Jupiter kind of indie game with them too. So I'm excited for that.
Man, so many great news, so much alpha on here with Crypto Conexión and Lucas. Lucas, thank you so much for everything that you're doing, not just with your game, building the next generation of game developers, right? Teaching your students, teaching and Brazilian, Latinos, everything that you're doing is amazing. It was a really pleasure to meet you, and I can't wait to see you next week. Any last words you have for people at Crypto Conexión?
No, no, no. Muchas gracias. Estoy muy feliz que conseguimos fazer isso. Eh, yeah, I'm just really excited to keep doing more of these events. Definitely try to come through to Central Park or some of the events next week, Marco. I definitely want to catch up with you more. And yeah, just excited to have a nice Solana summer.
Yeah, I want to go to well, I'm going to the Solana like LAN event, the gaming one. I'm really interested,
Perfect.
so I'll see you there. Oh, last
Perfect.
thing, Carlo Ancelotti is the new Brazilian head coach, and he's trying to bring Kaká with him, so as an assistant. What's Brazil gonna do in the World Cup next year? I want them to win. Brazil has always been my national team.
Man, I'm not worried. There's so much young talent coming up the pipeline. Kakai is already, an old man. A lot of my mom and my aunts, they say, oh, he's the best looking. He's old now. Like he's old news. Like he's really cool. I like him, but yeah, we don't. I think Brazil will do just fine. There's a lot of young talent coming up.
Perfect, perfect. So thank you so much for the Crypto Connection community. Thank you so much to Lucas, and hopefully you guys get to go to Solana Accelerator. If you're there, say hi, say what's up. We're really friendly people. We don't bite, so yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you.
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Bye bye.